Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to Tennessee's matchup against Auburn today here at Plainsman Park right here in Auburn, Alabama. I'm Danielle Whaley, and today I'm joined by Seth Norris, and we're going to give you the call for this game. It's pretty evenly matched coming into this. Both teams are at the bottom of their divisions in the SEC. They're both 3-9 right now, so this could be evenly matched. What do you say about that, Seth?
Yeah, they're definitely evenly matched, and Auburn looking for their first SEC series win going into this one, and a bunch of interesting storylines. Both teams, this is a must-win series for both of these teams if they want any shot at postseason play.
Absolutely, and Auburn's going to be looking at Ben Brahmer to be getting the start. He's their starting pitcher, 6'2", 222 pounds. He's currently 3-2 on the season with a 2.43 ERA, not too shabby for him. Overall, he's pitched 29 2/3 innings, allowing 17 hits, 11 runs, 8 earned runs, 14 walks, and he's had 28 strikeouts. So this could be very interesting for the Vols to go up against.
Yeah, battle of the lefties, too. Aaron Soto and Ben Brahmer, both left-handed pitchers. You do not see that too often, and that's actually going to be very frequent throughout this whole series. Only one pitcher is a right-handed pitcher, and that's coming in the second game for Auburn.
Right, and with Aaron Soto, like you mentioned, he's going to be the sophomore left-handed pitcher starting for the Vols. He's 3-1 on the season. His only loss, South Carolina. Not too bad. That was within their last series whenever they got swept by the Gamecocks. He's 3-1 on the season with an ERA of 4.78, pitching 26 1/3 innings, allowing 25 hits, 15 runs, 14 earned runs, 10 walks, 17 strikeouts, so not too bad for him. Tennessee is going to be up to bat first, and their leadoff batter is going to be Benito Santiago, the right fielder. He right now has a batting average of 364. Not too bad for him, but it'll be interesting to see how he goes up against Brahmer to lead off for the Vols. It's a very nice night here at Plainsman Park in Auburn. Like I said, we're getting ready to have the first pitch, so we're going to go ahead and let you enjoy the sounds of the game, brought to you by our sponsors.
McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's is a good sponsor this year. Like I said, Brahmer. I'm really looking forward to see how his pitching is tonight, especially against Benito Santiago to start it off. Number 31 coming up to the plate right now. His stance is usually pretty split. He usually stays pretty evenly spaced. Shoulder width, not too bad. 5'10", sophomore, so he's going to be walking up into the box right now. Brahmer looking for that call from the catcher. Benito leans back a little bit in the batter's box. Brahmer with the throw, and that's going to be a ball. First ball of the game on the first pitch. Benito gets back into the box, sizing up Brahmer. Brahmer with the pitch. Looks like a little bit of a slider there. Top right of the batter's box. That's a pretty interesting pitch from Brahmer.
Brahmer seems like he might be having a little trouble early on with control. 2 balls, just not anywhere close to the zone.
Definitely not. You'd think Santiago might be able to capitalize on that so far, but pitch again, very high in the strike zone. Man.
Definitely a good start for Tennessee. 3-0. If they can get the first runner on base, get off to a quick start, going to bode well for Tennessee.
Santiago has hit safely in 11 of the last 12 games, so Vol fans should be looking for him to make it on base pretty safely. Pitches back, way out of the strike zone. Santiago will get the walk on that one, taking him to first base, and up next will be Chris Hall, center fielder for the Vols, number 5.
And you don't see that often at the start of a game. 4 pitches, 4 balls. Santiago, a little luck for Tennessee early on.
Absolutely. Chris Hall gets into the box. He's close to the inside. This is a really interesting stance from him. Brahmer comes back, composes himself, throws the pitch. Another wild pitch. Santiago will make it to second base, safely getting some more yardage on that play for him. Santiago is still the only player on base, of course. Nice to have a leadoff on second so far.
Yeah, and another one in the dirt for Brahmer. You got to think that it might be time for the manager to come out there, catcher out there trying to settle him down right now, but that's not a good sign for Auburn early on.
Definitely not. I mean, Brahmer seems, looking at his stat line, he seems to be a pretty solid pitcher for for Auburn. He had a great outing last time, came in as a relief pitcher and pitched 5 innings. So it's tough to see him having this hard of a time so early on in the game. Still 0-0, 1-0 count, 0 outs. This is Bramer's 5th pitch coming up. Another one right out of the strike zone. Second ball, that one was way down in the lower right-hand corner. Chris Hall seems to be pretty composed right now. I mean, against Bramer, who's having a really tough time this early on. He could look to get on base. Bramer composes himself again, looking to get something going for the Tigers. Pitches out. Hall trying to go for a bunt on that one. That's very surprising to see.
Very surprising. I really don't even know why they're even looking to swing right now. I'd make Bramer throw a strike, and maybe then I'll look to maybe bunt.
Definitely. I mean, he's throwing a lot of sliders so far. This is really interesting. Will we see another slider on this pitch? 2-1 count. Another attempt of a bunt for Hall. Bramer gets his second strike. Those last 2 were right in, barely into the strike zone. Hall comes back. I'd expect to see a curveball from Bramer on this one. 2-2 count. 9th pitch of the game coming up. Bramer. Another one right into the strike zone, but it went off the tip of the bat from Hall. Count stands at 2-2.
Hall making him throw a lot of pitches early on. 5 pitches so far in this at bat. It'll be good for later on in the game.
Definitely makes you wonder how high his pitch count will get and how early on it'll get up this high, especially with all the balls he's been throwing.
At this rate, this doesn't look like a long outing for Bramer.
Absolutely not. 2-2 count. Bramer pitches it. Hall back with the hit. Line drive to right field. He's going to be getting onto first base safely.
Thought Santiago might have an advantage there and go on home, but they decided to hold him at third.
Correction. Yes, Hall is out on that play. Santiago is at third, so it's good to have him in scoring position so far. Nice to get that steal like he did. Have him in scoring position. He could score as Nick Senzel comes up to the plate. Third baseman, number 13. He's been one of the hottest players for Tennessee this season.
And that's all you can ask for when you got Nick Senzel coming up, to have someone in scoring position. You know, Senzel, top 10 prospect for the big leagues, and you got to count on guys like him to send the runner through.
Absolutely. Senzel steps into the batter's box. Bramer with the pitch. Looks to be a strike there. Senzel is 6'1" junior. And correction as well, Hall did make it onto first in that last play. So we have runners on first and third for Tennessee. Looks to be pretty promising, especially with Senzel up to the plate. Senzel is back in the batter's box, leaning back just a little bit. Bramer with the pitch. Another wild pitch. That's 2 wild pitches so far. Hall gets to second base. Looks to be safe. Another steal. It's very surprising to see so much play happening at second base like this.
2 runners in scoring position, too, giving Tennessee the opportunity to get off to a really quick start and put Auburn on their heels a little bit.
Definitely, and a lot of people, I mean, like I said, this was an evenly matched game, but Tennessee is looking very strong so far. They now have runners in definite scoring position at second and third. Santiago on third, Hall on second. Senzel back into the batter's box. This time he's a little closer inside, so maybe we'll see him getting ready for a breaking ball, potentially. Another curveball, perhaps. Bramer sets up for the pitch. 1-1 count. 0 outs. Right in the middle of that strike zone. 1-2 count.
And that's got to be a little bit of good news for Auburn. Bramer at least finding the strike zone now and getting into a groove.
Definitely. Senzel looking to compose himself a little bit, gets back into his stance. Bouncing around a little bit. You can tell he's trying to get a little bit of energy going there in the batter's box. He leans back just a little bit into the pitch, Bramer's pitch, into the middle of the strike zone. It's going to get to the shortstop, who is going to bobble it. That is very surprising to see for Auburn. That's going to be Cody Nolf, shortstop there for Auburn, bobbling that play.
Just couldn't handle it, and that's mistakes you can't have early on in a game, let alone in a game at all if you want a chance to win.
Right, and with that bobble, Tennessee will get their first run of the game. Santiago crosses home plate. So that's going to put runners on first and third. Once again, Senzel on first, and you have Hall on third. That's the first error of the game as well. Next up to bat is going to be Vincent Jackson, the left fielder for the Vols. He's also been a very solid player for Tennessee this season. He's standing up pretty straight in this. No real curve into the pitch. Bramer goes to first, trying to get Senzel out there, but Senzel is all over that base, keeping his eyes open on what is going on. Bramer watching Vincent Jackson very carefully. Jackson looks very calm right now in the batter's box. Bramer comes back for the pitch, 0-0 count, still 0 outs. Strike on that one. That was a very close strike to becoming a ball. That was very much on the outside of that strike zone.
Yeah, very much so, but still a good curveball there from Bramer, and still a little encouraging with the trouble early on to find that strike zone.
Definitely. I would say that was probably his best curveball of the game so far. We've seen a breaking ball, curveball, a little bit of a fastball. It was tough to tell if it was more of a fastball or a screwball. It was kind of in between the two. But Vincent Jackson gets back in, 0-1 count. Tennessee up 1-0. Bramer with the pitch. Jackson, he's going to put a full swing on that one. Second strike. He was really trying to get something on that one.
A little bit of a smile, too, from Jackson. He seems confident in his ability right now. You know, hitting 370 on the year anyways, I would be confident too. And
he's on a 9-game hitting streak as well. So, I mean, he has every reason, like you said, to be confident to get some kind of hit in there. 0-2 count. Runners on first and third. Bramer goes back for the pitch. Another high one. That top right corner has been very, very useful for him tonight. It's 1-2 count. Another ball. Kind of wondering if he's going to get back into that strike zone anytime soon. It's not looking likely. 1-2 count. Like I said, runners on first and third. Jackson still looking tall and strong in that batter's box. He moved in a little bit more inside. Bramer's pitch is out. Right off the edge of the bat for Jackson. Is that going to be fair or foul? We're still waiting on the call. Looks to be foul.
Yeah, Jackson staying alive in a 1-2 count. Still got that confidence about him, though. Not used to seeing players this confident down 1-2 in the count.
Definitely, and there's still 0 outs on this game. That's very important to look at. And Bramer is up to 18 pitches already, and we're only on the 4th batter. So this is really surprising.
Yeah, and this is not good for Auburn, a team who struggles late in the innings in the bullpen. As you see right here, 12th ranked in ERA on the year.
Absolutely. Bramer goes back in for the pitch, composing himself, looking over at Senzel on first base. Goes in with the pitch, and that's going to be another foul ball off the tip of the bat of Jackson, heading over into the third base stands. Hope you are watching out. If you're sitting over there, no clue where that could be heading. Jackson looks back over to the dugout to get some more insight on what to do. Bramer's looking a little confused right now. He definitely looks frazzled. 1-2 count, top of the first. 1-0. Vols have the lead. 2 men on base on first and third. 19 pitches for Bramer. Bramer steps back into position. Puts back the pitch. And that's going to be towards the bottom of the strike zone. Another foul. Right back to the third base side.
Jackson staying alive. Two foul balls in a row. Up to 20 pitches for Bramer.
And it's this early on in the game. That's very surprising. A lot of people were expecting Bramer to come in and just be an up-down pitcher. You know, just have the balls down back into the dugout as soon as they got up to plate, but it doesn't look to be that way. Jackson still looking strong in the batter's box. Bramer's pitch up high off of Jackson's bat, and it's going to be foul again. Third baseman was really trying to chase that one for Auburn. That was Kyler Deese really going after that foul ball, trying to get as much as he could from that.
Jackson still staying alive, though. You can't say it enough.
It's very impressive to see that. This 1-2 count seems like it's lasted forever for Tennessee. Can't help but wonder what's going through Jackson's mind right now.
Judging by the look on him, I believe he's going to get a hit right here.
I would probably say that's most likely going to happen. Jackson gets back in, still looking so strong with his batting stance, standing up basically straight. Bramer tries to pick off Senzel at first. Once again, not able to happen. Senzel is just covering that base like it's his It's his job.
And Bramer perhaps a little flustered and afraid to go to the plate right now. I imagine that's the reason he threw over the first.
Absolutely. That was his second throw over to first. Bramer goes back in. Still 1-2 count. Balls still have 1-0 lead. Bramer tries to pick off Senzel, who goes off to second base. Second baseman throws it to third to try to get Santiago out, but he is safe. Runners are still good on first and third.
Senzel actually advanced to second.
Yes, he
on
did.
That play. Odd series of events there. Bramer thrown over to first.
Couldn't help but wonder if he was going to get a pickle in that one between first and second.
It is quite the pickle.
It looked very
Quite
much
the
like
pickle
it.
for Auburn.
Yes. Right now, it's a jar of pickles for Auburn this early on, and it's just hard to see for this Tigers team. Granted, both teams have been struggling in the SEC. They're 3-9, like I said, but Auburn has the advantage in this matchup against Tennessee. Auburn leads this series all-time 88-37, and in Auburn, Tigers have that lead 50-18. They're having a meeting on the mound right now. Coach is out there talking to Bramer.
And Bramer, he's not had a good start. Eight balls to 13 strikes, and that's 21 pitches total. That's not a good percentage, but the fielder's not giving him any help either. Some unforced errors and just bad plays.
Absolutely. Head coach Butch Thompson's out there. First-year head coach for the Tigers. His last 7 years were spent at Mississippi State as an associate head coach and pitching coach. But before that, he was right here in Auburn as an assistant coach and the recruiting coordinator for the Tigers from 2006 to 2008. So I'm sure they're very happy to have him back in Tiger territory and at the helm, no less. So like I said, Auburn does have the advantage in terms of the overall series. And in the last 10 games between the Tigers and the Vols, Auburn has led this series 7-3 since 2010. So pretty impressive for Auburn.
Yeah, just domination through and through, kind of like Tennessee basketball Tennessee football and Vanderbilt football, but
correct.
Shoes on the other foot here in baseball, Tennessee and Auburn.
Definitely the mound meeting is over. Jackson steps up back into the batter's box. Bramer looking a little bit more confident this time around. His stance is a little stronger. Still the 1-2 count. Another wild pitch at the bottom of that strike zone.
We may never see another batter, Danielle.
We may not. It's now a 2-2 count, so we do have a new count to look at. But Tennessee still has the 1-0 lead. Runners in scoring position on second and third. No outs still. 22 pitches for Bramer. Bramer goes back, composing himself, looking to get a strike on this pitch. Pitches out Jackson. Another foul ball to third. That left field side is getting a lot of attention from those foul balls.
Jackson can't quite get the timing down, but 10th pitch of the at-bat staying alive.
Definitely, and you have to commend him for that, to be able to stay alive this long. Count is 2-2. Top of the first still. Jackson still looking strong in that batting stance. Standing strong, standing tall. Senzel is eyeing down, stepping away from second base. Just a little bit to lead off enough. Jackson hits a line drive out to left field. That's going to be caught by the left fielder. Taken in for the out there to get the first out of the game. Tennessee is going to get another run, bringing the score to 2-0 on that 2-2 count.
Jackson did a lot of damage in that at bat. Got the out, but got the sac fly, putting a runner in, and made Bramer throw 11 pitches in that one at bat.
Definitely, and that was a very good snag by Jackson Bergreen for Auburn, the left fielder for the Tigers. Kind of thought he was going to drop it. He looked to be a little bit behind that ball. But next up for the Vols, they are going to have Jordan Rogers up at bat, first baseman, probably the strongest player the Vols have right now. Another pitch that's low to the right of the strike zone, bottom right corner. It's going to be a 1-0 count. Like I said, Jordan Rogers, one of the strongest players for the Vols right now. He has 50 RBIs. That's first in the SEC. He has 5 triples, second in the SEC. He steps back into the batter's box. Bramer eyeing him down just a little bit. Rogers' stance is strong. Bramer's pitch is to the middle of the strike zone. Jordan Rogers hits a nice little pop to right center field. And he's going to get on base. Vols score again, 3-0 for Tennessee. Rogers on first, only 1 out and in the top of the first. balls are looking strong so far.
Looking strong early, going to give Aaron Soto a big cushion to work with. Hopefully he can make something happen with it here in the bottom of the first.
Absolutely. It's going to be exciting to see whenever Tennessee gets to pitch, because Soto has been one of the stronger pitchers for a sophomore as well, between Zach Warren, who's basically the leading pitcher for the Vols. But we'll talk more about him in a bit. Next up to bat is the designated hitter for the Vols, Matt Waldron. He's the junior, 6-foot DH. Steps in the batter's box, leaning back just a little bit, goes for a bunt off of Bramar's pitch, and that's going to put Rogers going to second on another wild pitch.
Another one in the dirt, too. Bramer might not make it out of this first inning alive.
He may not. Like I said, Rogers gets to second base on that. That's the fourth time, I believe, that we've seen that pitch go that low to where the catcher has to bobble it.
And at some point, you got to think about going somewhere else, so going in a different direction.
Absolutely. Bramer steps back in, composes himself, getting ready for the pitch. 1-0 count. Puts it in, and that's right into the middle of the strike zone. That's the look he has been looking for all game. Count's going to be 1-1, top of the first. 1 out. Rogers steps back in, or I'm sorry, Matt Waldron steps back into the batter's box. Rogers on second, leading off just a little bit, just enough to worry Bramer. Bramer goes for the pitch, and that's going to be on the right side of that strike zone, but Waldron puts in the full momentum on that swing. 1-2 count. Good
sign for Bramer to be ahead in the count, but he was ahead of the count on Jackson as well.
That's true, so we'll see how many pitches this goes into. It took 10-plus pitches to get Jackson anywhere. Bramer composing himself once again. Rogers is having a little fun leading off at second. And that's going to be a strike for Bramer, a strikeout, a very strong strikeout for him on that 1-2 count, putting it at 2 outs with Tennessee up 3-0. Up next to bat for the Vols is Tyler Schultz, the catcher, number 14 for the Vols. 2 outs. Tennessee is still leading 3-0, top of the first. Rogers is on second, looking to hopefully score, maybe if there's a double. Schultz steps into the batter's box. Bramer composing his pitch. Will we see a breaking ball on this play? Doesn't look to be so. Pretty nice curveball from Bramer, and that's going to get a strike for against Tennessee.
Schultz looked like he was getting ready to bunt, too. Tennessee looking to utilize the bunt here early on.
Definitely makes you wonder what they have noticed with this team. We don't really see Tennessee bunting this much. Maybe against Auburn it could be different. Bramer goes back for the 0-1 count. 2 outs. Pitches up and very high in that strike zone. 1-1 count now. Rogers goes back to second. He was leading off extremely far on that pitch. Kind of wonder if he was going to be stealing that base. 1-1 count. Bramer is eyeing down the catcher. Schultz looking strong. Bramer's pitch, low in that strike zone, just barely a ball.
And there seems to be no consistency with Bramer in the strike zone. As you mentioned, the last one really high in the zone. Mm-hmm. Several in the dirt, just something's not right with Bramer.
Absolutely. Bramer goes back for the 2-1 count, 2 outs. Tennessee up 3-0. Rogers trying to lead off again, and he steals the base. He is now on third. No surprise for Rogers. You expect to see that from him.
Yeah, and a single can usually get you home from second, but a single will for sure get Rogers home now. Vols potentially looking at a 4-0 lead early on in the first.
Absolutely. Bramer goes back, getting ready for the pitch. Schultz leaning back a little bit in his stance. He hits a nice hit out to center field. That's going to bring in Rogers for the score, putting the Vols up 4-0. Schultz will make it on to first base. So like you said, a nice single there for him. A consistent single. You don't want to get a line drive going. You really wanted to have that nice little arching hit like he just had. So next up to bat for the Vols is going to be Max Bartlett, the shortstop, number 19. Rogers coming in, that's big for him. We're used to seeing Rogers scoring, bringing other batters in rather than somebody else having to bring him in. So that's very interesting to see. Bartlett steps into the batter's box. Bramer composing himself, trying to make something of his next few pitches, tries to get Schultz at first.
Bramer flustered. All you need is one out. You don't need to be worrying about the runner on first right now.
Absolutely. Puts his pitch in. Another low pitch. This time it was the bottom left corner of the strike zone. Bartlett's looking pretty composed right now in the batter's box, but still Bramer just looking very frazzled right now. 1-0 count, 2 outs. Tennessee up 4-0, top of the first still. Bramer goes back for the pitch, and that's going to be in the middle of the strike zone. A nice little curveball again from him. He seemed to do pretty well with the curveball.
Yeah, he might want to stick to that a little more often. Finally getting a strike with something.
Definitely. 1-1 count, 2 outs. Bramer's looking to hopefully get another strike. Composing himself. Pitches out. Another low pitch. Catcher makes the throw to second, and that's going to go into center field. And that's going to be bringing Schultz to third base. Big play for Tennessee there.
Another error by Auburn. You know, we can sit here and say all we want to about the pitching performance, but still yet getting no help from his defense.
Definitely. Blake Logan, the catcher there, tried to connect with Melvin Gray at second base, just not able to do that. Coaches are going over to Jordan Rogers at second. Not sure if something happened whenever he slid in, or not Rogers, excuse me, Schultz, whenever he slid into second. Not sure if something happened there for him. He looks to be wobbling just a little bit as he walks around. That could be key for Tennessee if he goes down.
Yeah, seems to be all right, though. Probably just a little Charlie horse there at the end.
Probably. Looking back, slid in just a little oddly. Ankle twisted. Looking back at that replay, his left ankle looked to twist against that base. Could be that could hurt. That could very much hurt.
Yeah, it's definitely a minor tweak, but not something you want to do.
Definitely. 2-1 count, 2 outs. Bramer getting ready to pitch again to Max Bartlett. Bartlett up to bat for the Vols. Pitches up, and another very high pitch in that strike zone, making it a 3-1 count against the Vols right now. 2 outs. Bartlett getting back into that batter's box, and he's going to go back out, needing a little bit more time, having to tighten up his brace that's on his leg.
Maybe he's just trying to make Bramer think a little more.
He could be. You never know.
Playing mind games.
You never know. That could definitely be it. But it seems like Bramer has some mind games going on in his own mind with how his pitching's been going. Bramer goes in for the pitch. Catcher's standing up a little bit more in his stance. Foul ball hit to first base side off of the tip of Bartlett's bat. That was a really interesting pitch from Bramer.
Yeah, full count here now. Got to expect Bartlett to have his bat ready.
Definitely 3-2 count.
Likely going to be a fastball.
Probably a fastball. That's what you would think he would throw, but we've kind of been wrong on some of his
and that
pitches
curveball
so
has
far.
been working for him.
It has been. Schultz is leading off again from second. Bartlett goes in. He's going to get a nice little grounder over to third, and then that's going to finish off the top of the inning as Bartlett gets out at first with the shortstop connecting with Nico Buentello for the Tigers, putting the score at 4-0. Tennessee leading Auburn going into the bottom of the first. We're going to take a break for a few announcements from our sponsors, and then we'll see you right back here for this matchup between the Vols and the Tigers.